Millionaires Row in Manhattan once boasted some of the most incredible palatial mansions ever known in the US, but by the early 20th century, most had been replaced by skyscrapers, but there was one built after everything else. Hi everyone, Ken here. Today we are exploring the last mansion built in Manhattan's Millionaires Row. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. In 1891, William Brandt was born into a highly dysfunctional family in Iowa. When he was 5 years old, his parents were going through a divorce, which was almost unheard of at the time. Out of spite, his father put he and Mrs. Brandt's kids up for adoption. Thankfully, Mr. Brandt's half-brother, William Ziegler, stepped in and legally adopted them before they ended up in an orphanage. He took such a liking to young William that he legally changed his name to William Ziegler Jr. and raised him as his own son. Ziegler Sr. had amassed a fortune after founding the Royal Baking Powder Company, which all but ran a monopoly on the production of baking powder in the United States. He further ventured into chemical manufacturing, building his stock portfolio and making backdoor deals with elected officials. When he died in 1905, his estate was worth $30 million, the modern equivalent of over $1 billion. William Jr., who we will just refer to as William from now on, inherited about half of Sr.'s fortune along with a controlling interest in his companies. After years of continuing to expand the companies, even breaking them up to comply with antitrust laws, he nearly doubled his fortune. Within 15 years of Sr.'s passing, William had made a name for himself and become a respected member of high society. After marrying his first wife Gladys, he set out to build one of the last palaces to ever be constructed on Manhattan's Millionaires Row. By now, most of the marble palaces from the Gilded Age had been replaced by skyscrapers, but nonetheless, he persisted. In 1919, William purchased 3 brownstones near 5th Avenue and 63rd Street to have demolished. He then hired architect Frederick Sterner to design for him a palatial residence in the Italian Renaissance or Palazzo style, resurrecting the likeness of Manhattan's Gilded Age, the styling of which had all but ceased 20 years earlier. Boasting 26,000 square feet wrapping around a central courtyard, the William Ziegler House was completed for the grand price of $1 million, the modern equivalent of nearly $18 million. To begin exploring the mansion, we will make our way in through the double doors at street level. This leads us into the foyer, with multicolored marble floors mirroring a coffered plaster ceiling above us. As we make our way up a few steps from the entrance hall to dive deeper into the mansion, note that the walls are all crafted from travertine blocks, giving the mansion the feel of a fortress. Winding our way through dark corridors, we see sunlight pouring in from the courtyard to illuminate the stair hall. Let's continue forward. Every surface in this space has been crafted from the same travertine, and while it might be tempting to run up the floating staircase, we still have much to see on the main level. The stair hall's sets of French doors open up into the central courtyard, allowing every room in the house to receive ample sunlight. As we explore the house, we will continue in a circle around the courtyard, starting with the drawing room. First, we will pass through an intricate door surround graced by a broken pediment to find our way into the drawing room. In keeping with the tradition of the Gilded Age design standards, this room's wood paneling was salvaged from a house in London and reassembled in William's mansion. Just out of view on the right-hand side, we will take the door into the library. Just as the drawing room had been salvaged, so had the library, with wood paneling and an intricately carved fireplace mantel, all disassembled and reassembled from an Elizabethan-era manor house in Warwickshire. Continuing our round about the courtyard brings us to the dining room, furnished with 16th century textiles, and a mantel salvaged from Palazzo Piccolomini in Italy's Tuscany region. We can imagine lavish dinner parties in the dim light of candelabras softly illuminating the barrel-vaulted ceiling. And of course, Mr. and Mrs. Ziegler never had to lift a finger to create the ambiance. Their full-time staff made sure the house ran perfectly behind the scenes, such as in their state-of-the-art kitchen where 3-course meals would be prepared by their chef daily. Getting back on track, we finally made a full circle around the courtyard to return to the travertine stair hall. With our footsteps echoing through the second-floor stair hall, let's continue exploring the mansion. First, we find Mrs. Ziegler's suite, spanning 75 feet, the entire frontage of the house along 63rd Street. Her quarters included a boudoir, a private dressing room, and a state-of-the-art bathroom. Mr. Ziegler's quarters weren't quite as large as his beloved wife's, but that did not mean he had to sacrifice on style. Unfortunately, their marriage did not weather their ascent to status, and the two divorced after only a couple years of living in the house. By this time, William had acquired several other mansions, some as country homes where he would keep his many racehorses, and others as glorified docks for his yacht which he would only visit for a few weeks out of every summer. In preparation for his wedding to his second wife, Helen Martin Murphy, William set out to build a new Manhattan mansion where he and Helen could start a new life. Instead of building on Millionaires Row, he headed down to Midtown where he built a less assuming but equally grand mansion at 116 East 55th Street. Now that he had been living with money for over a decade, his taste had refined. The new mansion, built in 1926, was constructed from brick with a blend of Georgian and Federal styling accenting the facade. At least that is how it appeared from the street. The rear of the mansion was terraced with hanging gardens, limestone quoins, and wrought iron balustrade. The interior echoed early American design with a blend of Palladian and Georgian styling, once again going against the grain of what was popular during his era. The results were magnificent, with a central staircase spiraling towards the top of the mansion below a leaded glass dome. At the second level's main hall, we can make our way across checkered floors, admiring intricate murals in each paneled section. This leads us into the dining room, decorated not with European antiques like his previous mansion, but with Americana. This refined approach to design led to built-in cabinets for displaying choice china, and a Georgian fireplace mantel framing hand-painted tiles and adorned by a bald eagle breaking free from its broken pediment. Heading back across the main hall, we will find the passageway to the living room. Instead of being a place only for show, the living room was meant to be enjoyed not only in style, but in comfort. Despite its large size, it was furnished with overstuffed furniture cozied up to the fireplace, and instead of having a separate library, the living room contained books he and his wife actually wanted to read. They both enjoyed living here in quiet luxury until their passing. Initially, there was a push to demolish the mansion on Millionaires Row and replace it with a hospital, but thankfully those plans fell through. Today, both of his Manhattan mansions continue to stand. Which one was your favorite? Let me know down below in the comment section, and while you're there, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.